Hello and welcome to Coxie's Picks, and today we're going to be talking about a great event for escapologists. It was one of the Pathfinders. It was a live TV escape and it was done by David De-Val on October the 17th, 1984. It was shown live on BBC TV, right? And it's one of the reason I say it's a groundbreaking one is because it was a challenge that was issued on a previous escape where he escaped out of a prison by various members of the public that did the phone-in. So he accepted the challenge, right? And the challenge was various restraints, as well as the mask that I've already featured, right? And it was conducted in Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and it was on a ride called the Revolution, and that conducted at 60 miles an hour, a full turn, and then it came back upon itself. The video itself is actually quite cool, and I'll link to it in the description so you can watch it. It's 10 minutes long. Yes, there is some dated comedy with Chris Tarrant, but at the same time you actually get to see a master escapologist at work. So this is not, before we get any further, this is not a masked magician where I'm going to reveal his secrets and everything else. This is purely a look at the actual items in question and how I would do it. And I would obviously do it slightly different. Everyone's different. So the technique that I'm going to use is going to be exceptionally different to what he did. So what we've got here is the Hamburg 8s, and we know that he used Hamburg 8s because we've got a couple of still photos from the video and we can ascertain what the Hamburg 8 is. One of the key things that you can spot a Hamburg 8 from is from the keyhole and also this unique hinge on the side. So if I just open this up, we can talk about what the actual cuff involves. So as you can see, it's a cuff that splits open, right, with a sprung loaded locking pull, right, the hinge on either side. Now one of the cool things about this is we only need to get it so that one side comes off, because this side, the orifice that's cut into it, is large enough for it to be removed, and that's purely by design. If you notice that the spring lever is only just for the top piece and not for the bottom piece. The top piece holds the bottom piece in place. So we know that we only need to pick it the once to get rid of this large chunk on the top, which is cool. One of the real ideas with this was that it was great for policemen because you have it locked in your pocket and then open it up because both the orifices line up at this position. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that can fold their hands either way to that flat. So as soon as you open it up, it's secure, and as soon as you go flat, it's locked. Sorry, it's open, and that's it. So this was a great design. The only downside being is that the key for it is very plain and basic, rudimentary, which any piece of metal could easily be used. That was the plan. But this has got a hidden secret. So if you look at this particular bow coming along here, it's fixed to the locking pull. I move this one 90 degrees away and you can see that this has stayed still. If I then bring this one away, you can see that the locking mechanism moves. Why is that cool? Well, if I hold this just over the top so that you can see where the keyhole is, if I move this 90 degrees, put the keyhole back, you can see that the access to the lock and the locking pull is now shrouded. So it makes it very difficult for you to actually be able to achieve anything. So how would we pick this? Well, we're going to use body positioning and also know where the cuff goes. So for example, if the body of the cuff there is pointing to you, we know that the locking lug is on this side. If it's pointing away from us, the locking lug is on this arm, so we know which way we're going to go. What we need to do is we need to be able to break the back of it, so we need to be able to force our hands against this so that it comes out and in. What do I mean by that? Well, I would use, personally, a Z tension tool. I'd reach over and I'd come it onto a slight incline, so it's going sort of like this into the lock, and then as I break the back, it will get the actual spring lever. So let's just go in for the theory. So I've got a slight angle on it. It is easier when I'm wearing it, but there we go. So we're going to break the back just like that, and up it comes in one smell swoop. Now, if we were to watch the video of David De-Val doing it, he starts with his hands in close like this and then gets cramp. On the next scene, you see that his hands are around an object, and that's because if I was to do the breaking of the back on this, I think what he normally would do is use his knee, and he's using the armrest to help break the back, which, as we watch the escape, we can see that these come off fairly quickly in comparison to the other locks. So let's see if we can actually do it in for reals. Right, so I'll put these on and I'll use my knee and I'll demonstrate the breaking of the back motion. Okay, so I've got my Hamburg 8 and I've got my Z tension tool. So it'll be a little bit less elegant trying to put this on because I don't have a glamorous assistant. But what we're going to do is first off get the cuff on with the keyhole up. Ooh, it's easy. Stay on there. In like she's a store. Cool. Right. So there we are. We've finally got them on. And as you can see, the keyhole is at the top position. Now the hardest part of this is going to be reaching over, right? And once you've got it actually into the keyway, so let's try and get you in frame so you can see as well. Using a little bit of gravity to help me out, just going to get it over the top of the keyway, just like that, and drop it in. So as you can see, it's dropped in. There we go. Right, and I would normally use my knee, but I'm going to try and break back with just my wrists. So this might take me a couple of goes. But over we go, backwards, forwards, until we find it to bind. Oh, it's binding, but it's not opened and not released. Not quite in the right position. Back over again. 1, 2. Come on. There we go. Just like that. We can get out by rocking backwards and forwards and abusing that spring lever. Now it is quicker if you're using an object in between, so like the armrest on the roller coaster would be quicker. And also if I was to use my knee I'd be quicker as well, but I'd be out of shot and it's really difficult. There we are, so let's go back over to there and discuss a modern equivalent. Okay, so we've seen the Hamburg's 8s, right? They are a fantastic cuff, but they are getting harder and harder to source. Yes, you could use the Cub replica Hamburg 8s, however they have their own problem whereby the spring lever is far too easy and it could probably action before you wanted to. So it wouldn't be any real true challenge. The hardest part would be getting your tool in place. So if I was to do a modern day equivalent, I would suggest this. This is the ASP 500. They are lightweight and it does keep my hands slightly further apart to start off with. But again, I can then start working my way around by playing around with cuff and hand positions. And again, I would try and have it so that the bows were facing up. So that is my modern choice for the handcuff. Right, keep following me and subscribe and like for more because I plan to give a little bit more on this. We've also got the thumb cuffs to look at and the 2 padlocks that we use to secure the mask, and I'll try and find suitable modern day equivalents for those as well. So stay safe, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.